Well, along with the normal stresses of our lives, many of us may feel added stress as we wait or as we get the results of the presidential election. Dr. Holly McKenna with Dara Wellness joins us on National Stress Awareness Day. And Holly, I was asking you, does this always fall on the day after the election? But you said not necessarily.
Yeah, it's always the first Wednesday of November. So I think most of the time during presidential elections, we determined that it probably does. And I think that's a good thing.
But it's also right after the daylight saving time change.
Right.
It's also the
Yes.
first week of November when we're
Yes.
starting to get into holiday stress.
Right. There's so many stressors.
There's a lot of stressors right now. What can people do about it?
Well, first of all, let's just take a breath.
Okay.
I mean, seriously, like inhale and exhale. I mean, I have a feeling most of us have not done that today, not purposefully anyway. And that's a big way to reduce your stress. So what happens with stress is it's the body's response to change. It's the body trying to prepare itself for change. And that can mean a number of things. That can mean giving a talk at work. That can mean dealing with the election results, dealing with the holiday stress. And basically, there's a hormone that increases in our blood called cortisol, and that tells our body to prepare for change. That means your blood pressure goes up, your heart rate goes up, the breathing gets really shallow, which is why breathing is important. And sugar actually increases in our blood because it's really preparing us to run or fight. So if you woke up this morning and wanted to move and just get a passport and get out of Dodge, that's your fight or flight response.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's something to pay attention to. If you're having those kind of thoughts, like I just want to get out of here, like I just need to escape, that means you're getting stressed and that anxiety is coming up, and it's something that you really can start to address with taking a deep breath and bringing yourself back to the here and now.
What if you don't address it? What if you, I mean, we always hear, you got to let it out. What if you suppress it and you say, I'm just not going to think about this. I'm going to put my head in the sand and ignore it.
Do like a Scarlett O'Hara, I'll think about it tomorrow. That's chronic stress. So what happens then is the body actually acts as if you're not getting a food source. So it slows down your metabolism. That sugar that's high in your blood can turn to a diabetes situation. The blood pressure situation can turn to a hypertension, heart disease. Chronic stress can lead to chronic illness. It can also lead to things like depression and anxiety and post-traumatic stress. All of those things have an underlying core of a chronic stress state. And so that's why addressing it is so important to our health, our physical health and our mental health.
So you mentioned breathing.
Yes.
If folks are feeling stressed today or in the next few weeks, what are some ways that we can, in addition to breathing, help ourselves?
Yeah, so if you have different activities that you find joy from, that's something to embrace. If you have folks that are supportive of you that you can, maybe unload with or, sit down and have a meal with, that's a great way to start reducing stress. But honestly, things like exercise, getting outside, just 20 minutes outside in the sun with indirect sunlight coming into your face without your shades on, without the car window, that reduces that cortisol, that reduces that stress hormone.
You can feel it when you walk outside. I totally agree with that one. When you walk outside, it helps ground you too.
It really does.
I am here, the sun is shining, I've got my kids with me or my husband with me, and it really just helps bring you back to like the present moment.
Yes.
And that helps a lot.
Yes, because stress and anxiety, it's really about the unknown and, thinking about future things that may or may not be what happens. And, sometimes that can be helpful when you're preparing for things, but when you get into that stress state, when you get into the states we're talking about, it's not so helpful. And that's when getting to the here and now, using breathing, using yoga, using exercise, that's when that's helpful.
All right, Dr. Holly McKenna helping us de-stress today.
Trying, yes.
Well, if you